Hey guys, welcome to another NPL Minors match. You got Ace here, and today we play against TheFoghornChannel, also known as Keegan. He has a very fat team. Let me just read it to you real quick. He has Kartana, Infernape, Cresselia, Megapincer, Amoonguss, Rotomwash, Kyurem, Klefki, Chansey, Doublade, Azelf, and Armaldo. So definitely some semi-stall elements there with Cresselia, Amoonguss, Rotomwash, Klefki, Chansey, and Doublade. But some offensive mons too with Kartana, Infernape, Megapincer, and Kyurem. And Azelf, of course. So looking at his team, he probably is one of the worst matchups in the league right now because I have some of the best wall breakers in the league, especially physical wall breakers, since he doesn't really have a physical wall on his team. I mean, of course, Cresselia can take physical hits, as can Rotom and Amoonguss, but not really from the typings of the mons that I have physical moves on. Like, for example, it's really hard for him to switch into Darmanitan and Hoopa, which you can see are the first two mons I brought. So I guess I'll go over the team that I brought real quick. I have a Banded Darmanitan with Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Superpower, and Zen Head Miss. Zen Headbutt really not there for any reason. I didn't need a fourth move. It's really only there to maybe kill an Amoonguss that he wants to sack if it's not full, and I don't want to, if it's like not near full, and I don't want to take recoil damage. I'm really not going to click that move at all, but it's just going to be mostly Flare Blitz, Superpower, U-Turn. Superpower there only for the Chansey because I take like 75% recoil if I want to go for Flare Blitz against it. I believe both Flare Blitz and Superpower are rolls to kill a no HP 252 plus defense Chansey, so it's going to be annoying trying to get that roll, especially if, you know, he goes for a soft boiled and then we kill ourselves to recoil on the next Flare Blitz. That's why I have Superpower mostly, because the defense drop doesn't matter against Chansey, and it won't be gaining enough back from Soft Boil to prevent himself from getting killed by the next Superpower. Next mon is Banded Hoopa, so starting out with double bands, which is pretty cool. I don't really bring that much power usually in league games, but sometimes it's useful, especially when you're playing it in semi-stall. So we got Banded Hoopa with Hyperspace Fury, Trick, Fire Punch, and Zen Headbutt. Fire Punch there for the Klefki, Zen Headbutt there for the Amoonguss, and things that resist Hyperspace Fury. Trick there for any of his walls, if he somehow has a wall that can switch into this at all. If he, you know, has a key barrier or something like that, or it takes away my scarf, or not takes away my scarf, but I can use Trick and cripple a wall if need be at any time. So that's Hoopa. I'm adamant on both those mons, by the way, just to get max damage, and I don't really need to speed creep anything except Kyurem, which I'm not really expecting to be max speed if it is brought. So I'm just bringing 252 adamant on Darmanitan and just barely any speed on Hoopa. I believe that's to outspeed Rotomwash is what that speed is for. And then we have Zapdos. I have a defensive Zapdos set. This thing takes on the vast majority of his offense, takes on Kartana super well, takes on Infernape decently. He can get a 2-KO with Flare Blitz if he's Choice Band. He can take on Megapincer as long as he's not Stone Edge, which a lot of them aren't. He needs a lot of coverage moves to be able to hit my team with the Swords Dance set. For example, if he's Swords Dance, Quick Attack, Return, Earthquake, he can't hit Zapdos. If he's Swords Dance, Return, Earthquake, Stone Edge, he has problems with mons like Dugtrio. He has problems with mons like Mienshao and Ambipom. And if he has so if he wants Stone Edge, Quick Attack, Return, and, well, if he doesn't have Earthquake, he can't hit Metagross. Is the other one. So he can't run enough coverage if he's Swords Dance, so it's going to be a little bit, so I'm expecting him to forego the Stone Edge because it only hits Zapdos, while the other moves can hit multiple mons. So we have Zapdos here. It'll be able to take hits from most of his team, very bulky. I'll be able to defog Klefki's hazards away, which is really important. I don't really care about him going for Toxic or T-Wave. Well, I'm immune to T-Wave, but I don't really care too much about Toxic because of my next mon here, which is Mega Altaria. I am running a very bulky set, some Spadef, to be able to guarantee to live a Life Orb Ice Beam from a modest Curum, I believe. I have Heal Bell, Roost, Hyper Voice, and Fire Blast. Heal Bell, obviously very useful against Semi-Stall. Be able to heal all the Toxics and T-Waves he wants to go for, and basically undo a lot of the work that he's trying to do. Then Hyper Voice and Fire Blast, because once Chansey goes down, if he decides to bring it at all with, the two huge physical wall breakers I do have, it's really hard for it to switch into my Fairy Stab plus Fire Stab, because his only Fairy resists are, I believe, just Kartana. I'm not looking at his team right now, but Kartana and Klefki, and Klefki takes like 70 something from Fire Blast, and Kartana just dies. So pretty useful there. Mostly this thing will just be going for heal bells, but once Chansey's down, I can definitely get some wall breaking going with this. I do have a decent amount of special attack invested. I am modest, although I don't have much special attack. So fifth mon is Metagross. I have safety goggles. This is going to be my Amoonguss switch in. Obviously, if he does have foul play, that's going to hurt a little bit, but I do have a decent amount of defense, so it won't be too bad. I have Stealth Rock, HP Fire, Zen Headbutt, and Toxic. Toxic to lure mons like Chansey, Crest that want to switch in. Rocks because rocks are awesome against Stall. HP Fire so I can lure Kartana and HP Fire it and get the Oko as he wants to set up, or go for a Night Slash or whatever move he wants to go for. And Zen Headbutt just to have a move to threaten Amoonguss out. Pretty simple right there. Last mon I have is Ambipom. This is going to be the mon I'm hoping to clean up with at the end of the game. It outspeeds Mega Pinsir, although that doesn't really... It outspeeds Mega Pinsir. I have Silk Scarf over Life Orb because if I'm taking rocks damage, I want to have as much health as possible so I can live a +0 stone... not Stone Edge. +0 quick attack from Mega Pinsir. It does, I think, 50% around there. So I don't want to be taking too much Life Orb damage. And I believe Mach Punch from Ape does around 75, so I want to be able to live either one of those two hits. So I have Silk Scarf rather than a Life Orb this week. I think it'll be fine either way. We have Fake Out, Return, U-Turn, and Fire Punch. U-Turn is going to be really useful this match, because I'll be able to U-Turn, hopefully against a mon like Infernape, and go straight out into a Wall Breaker and get a guaranteed kill. So, pretty set game plan here. Just use my Wall Breakers to break down his team, stall out the rest with Altaria and Zapdos. Metagross is there mainly to get rocks, and then sweep late game with Ambipom. So let's get into the match. So looking at this match, he brought pretty much the team I expected. I didn't really expect the Chansey because, well, it's nice for my Altaria, but it does get Heal Bell. So I wasn't really expecting the Chansey, but I do have answers for it now that it is here, like Hoopa sort of kind of destroys it. Klefki is interesting to see as well because Hoopa is immune to Prankster, so if he wants to go for T-Wave or whatever on me, it won't affect me at all. I'm not quite clear on how spikes work with the whole Prankster on Dark types thing. I'm not sure if that would work. Because I didn't do my research coming to the match. But Play Rough from Klefki, I guaranteed live it, although it does put me pretty low. And Fire Punch does get the Oko on the Klefki if I want to go for that. So I'm going to go ahead and lead Ambipom, expecting the Azelf lead, and I do get it right. Here I'm just going to go for a Fake Out. I don't want this thing to be... I don't want Ambipom dead this early in the game. I don't want it taking unnecessary damage because I still do need it to take Mach Punch from Ape and or Quick Attack from Mega Pinsir. So I'm just going to go for a Fake Out, safe Fake Out as he switches out to Klefki. You can see from that damage that he's max defense. So knowing that, I go straight out into Hoopa Unbound, expecting maybe a Prankster T-Wave, or maybe a layer of spikes, either way. As he just goes straight into Cresselia, so now I get a free Hyperspace Fury off on something as he goes right back into Klefki. He takes that pretty well. I don't want to get hit with a Play Rough, so I just switch right out into Zapdos, hoping to defog away a layer of spikes if he does go for that, which he does. So I'm just gonna go for defog here as he switches out to Chansey. Then I'll click Toxics on this Chansey because, well, I guess I switch out first. I'd switch out because I wanted to scout which status he wants to go for, because Chansey usually has one status, either T-Wave or Toxic. So I wanted to see what status he would go for, which one he decided to bring. I was screwed over a little bit by custom game rather than draft league tier, because battle area for some reason wasn't working. So the reason I was screwed over by custom game a little bit was because my Altaria had Pixelate rather than Natural Cure coming into this battle. So like regular Altaria with Pixelate, which obviously doesn't matter because I have to Mega first turn either way. But it matters because I want the Natural Cure, so if he does go for a T-Wave or something here, I can just switch right back out into something that can take it pretty well and heal the T-Wave or Toxic in the process. But I don't have it. But he just goes for Wish anyway. So I'm like, okay, he's probably going to switch out into Klefki. But I Mega Evolve, go for Hyper Voice either way. I just wanted to scout what he would go for. I guess Fire Blast was probably the better play. I should have seen that coming. But at this point, I was just trying to gauge what the Chansey was trying to do, because I know it's going to be around for a while. I just wanted to see him go for a status move so I know how to play around it better. Although Fire Blast was a pretty safe play there. So unfortunately I don't go for the good Fire Blast play, but now I just go for it because, you know, I am Heal Bell, so I can take whatever status the thing wants to go for, and it's just setting up spikes. So he's gonna go for layer spikes as I Fire Blast him. I get a lot of damage off. Then I go into Zapdos, and I would like to defog these hazards away, which I do go for, as he just goes for S-Toss. And this reveals to me that he's probably not the Toxic set, and that he has T-Wave or something else. So that's nice. I mean, if he was T-Wave, you probably would have gone for it against Altaria. So he might not have a status, is what I'm thinking at this point in the game. But I know for sure that he's not Toxic when he does go for the Seismic Toss against Zapdos. So now I believe I do Toxic him here. Even though he does have Natural Cure, I will still be able to get a lot of damage off on this Chansey if he does want to stay in for a while, and he can't really get anything done to me since I can just spam Roost. Here, expecting him to switch out, expecting a Roost, I go for T-Bolt, which ends up working out really nicely for me since I do catch a Zelf on the switch. So I'm just going to go for another T-Bolt as he U-turns out. And he goes right back into Chansey, which is fine because I can just go for another Toxic. So Chansey is back in. He goes for a Wish. I mean, he's probably just going to... So I expect him to pass it into Klefki, but he actually just stays in, which is fine with me. He's just going to be taking more Toxic damage, and I'll be able to get a free Roost off right here, which is what I go for. He's just going for S-Tosses, not really doing much to me in the process, and weakening himself to Toxic damage. So it's really nice. This Chansey switches out at like 65%, which is nice for me. I have no reason to switch out here, and he goes out into Cresselia for some reason. I don't really get that play because now he's seen Toxic already, and Toxic can really limit what this Cresselia wants to do. So I do get the Toxic to Cresselia, which is huge. I guess he went into Cresselia just to Toxic my Zapdos, but I do have the Mega Altaria to heal off that Toxic, which is what I do switch out to here to be able to heal that Toxic. So I just go for it against this Chansey, and Zapdos is back again as a great wall. I switched to Darm because now that I've seen that he doesn't really have status, or I don't really know what his last move is, but it's probably not a status move because he probably would have already gone for it. I just switch hard into Darm as he goes for the S-Toss, which is fine. I go for the Superpower. I get a crit, which is both good and bad for me. It's bad for me because, well, I guess, I don't know. It's actually mostly just good for me because It doesn't reveal to him what set I am, doesn't reveal to him that I'm adamant banned. Which is really bad for him because he doesn't know whether going to something like Klefki or something that can take superpowers is a good play or not. Because he doesn't know whether I'm adamant banned or not. And it also kind of sucks for him because it was a roll for him to live, albeit a roll not in his favor, but it was a roll for him to live, and if he did live, his fourth move did end up being the counter. So he would have been able to take out this Darmanitan. But I get the crit either way, so unfortunate for him for sure. Would it have mattered if I had gotten the roll anyway? Probably, but I believe I just told him in the chat that I was adamant banned just because I felt bad. Because if I was Scarf, he would have gotten the crit, definitely would have mattered. So I go for superpower, get the crit. He goes into his elf. He'll be able to set up his rocks here, which is really unfortunate. Or actually, he just goes for U-turn. Yeah, I probably should have just set up his rocks there, but he goes for U-turn, goes right into Infernape, which is fine because I have the Mega Altaria. I see he's the Life Orb set, so I want to definitely scout the Gunk Shot, so I switched to Zapdos because Gunk Shot did take out my Altaria from that range, as he just goes right into Klefki. So that's fine. This Klefki can't really do much to my Zapdos, so I can just go for T-Bolts against it as he sets up a Calm Mind, which is fine because I've seen he's max defense, so I outspeed him if he wants to go for an attack. And he just goes for Spikes, the best play for sure, which allows him to keep up a layer of Spikes if he goes into something that can immediately threaten this out. But he doesn't, so he just goes to his elf to weaken this, so now it's about a 50% roll for this Flare Blitz to kill me. I believe the roll is like 44 to 54, so I think it's a little bit over 50%, a little under 50% for this to kill me, so I just go for Roost because he'll be taking recoil damage plus life orb damage. So if I get the roll, I'll be in a really good position because I will be guaranteed to live the next one. But unfortunately, he does get the roll. So I feel like that roll mattered a little bit more than the superpower crit. I mean, for the outcome of the battle, I believe it mattered more, but in general, but just for like for the sake of it being hacks and for him not knowing my Darm set, like in the moment, it probably sucked to see that crit in the beginning because he didn't know I was adamant banned yet, so he was probably kind of salty at that, even though the crit probably didn't matter based on the roll I got. So I just go around Ambipom, I'll be able to outspeed him. I can take a Life Orb Mach Punch if he wants to go for that, but he'll probably just switch out knowing that I Fake Out. So I just do go for the return here because it would have killed. And I didn't mind taking a Mach Punch if I had to, if it meant taking out Infernape. So he goes into Cresselia, which is fine for me. I can just go for this very safe U-turn here as he doubles back into Infernape. So I just go into Altaria. Since he didn't go for Gunk Shot before, he doubled into Klefki. I know that he probably doesn't have the Gunk Shot, so I can go for a pretty safe Roost here. Which is what I do go for as he goes into Cresselia, which is fine. So now I can just go hard into Hoopa-U, because this Crest can't really hit me with anything as he just doubles back into Infernape, which is fine. Here I probably should have sacked Hoopa-U because if he wanted to double again, I don't know. If I went for Hyperspace Fury there, I definitely would have won with higher differential, but in the end, probably didn't matter because this Altaria sort of walled the rest of his team anyway. So I go back into Altaria. I guess he sort of gets me with the Crest, but nothing Crest can really do to my Heal Bell Altaria, so I can just go for Hyper Voice's weakness thing to Hyper Voice plus Toxic. He starts going for Moonblast, which is kind of annoying. Not because it does a lot of damage, which it obviously doesn't, but it's annoying because if he gets special attack drops, it'll be easier for Pinsir to set up. Like if he gets 2 special attack drops, then Fire Blast. I don't believe Fire Blast is even a 2 KO on Mega Pinsir. So I'll have to watch out for that. If he gets Fire Blast, if he gets special attack drops, I'll have to switch out before he dies. So he does get the special attack drop there, which kind of sucks, but because I believe that means that Pinsir is out of Fake Out range after Fire Blast, I'll have to sack one more Mon. if he does set up the SD here. So he goes right on to Pinsir as I go for the Fire Blast. I'm praying that it hits his Fire Blast, which I do, which is nice. And I get the burn, which is definitely unfortunate for him, but I mean, he was down 2-5, and I had Ambipom to revenge this, so the burn really didn't matter because he ends up just being able to take me out with a return here either way, which is pretty crazy. Because I was a max HP Altaria. So he takes me out with the return there. So the burn didn't end up mattering because he got the kill anyway. So I go into Ambipom. Depending on his set, this fake out might not have killed if he wasn't burned. But now it just kills. Then Infernape will die to its return. So GG to Fog. A little bit of hacks, but I don't think either one of them really ended up mattering for the end of the game. So I guess a little bit of wearing on you psychologically, but we are back at 2-3 in the minors, which is really awesome because if I go 4-3, I think I almost guaranteed make playoffs, which is gonna be really exciting. So hopefully we can win our next 2 matches. Not 100% sure who they are against. I could check real quick. Let's see. I know next week we play against Aster J. I'm just gonna make sure on the next person we play. We play against Aster J, and then the last person we play against, I believe it is Google Docs taking a long time to load. It says working, although I really doubt that. Please. Alright, so we play against Aster. It's still working. So we play against Aster, and then our last week match is against Skyrander. So definitely some really tough matches there. Skyrander has a threatening team with Tapu Koko, which is always a hugely annoying mon to prep for because it's so fast and so powerful. And Aster has a Kyurem Black. And Kyurem Black is ridiculous against me because I have barely any ice resist. My ice resist is Hoopa and like Darm and Metagross, which are weak to many of Kyurem's other moves. So definitely going to be some fun matches there to look forward to. So we'll see how those go. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a like. Helps out. And maybe hit that subscribe. Recently I hit 30 subscribers, which is pretty cool. I think it would be cool if we could get to 40 maybe by the end of this league. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. See you next week with the next week of NPL Minors. Hopefully getting us back to 3-3 even. Alright, bye.